How's it, guys? Yeah, we're long overdue for our latest video update. We've been preoccupied with stuff, including building car and not doing videos. So we've got a bit of catch up to do, and I thought today we would have a peek at some of the inside of the car and what we've been up to. So the last time you saw us, we were whining about how difficult it was to remove all of the sound deadening from inside the car with the roll cage in place. Thankfully, that job is pretty much over, and I must say, if I never have to do that again, it's going to be too soon. Cleaning up all of the muck and repainting the inside silver so that it really looks half decent was a hell of a job. But yeah, so subsequent to that, we've carried on and we've painted our roll cage. There was some debate about what color to paint it. I wanted to paint it orange. Nick wanted to paint it a different color, so we painted it orange. Um, Further to that, we've got the seat back in, but importantly, we've now got the functionality because we need to be able to adjust the seat. Nick's got, I think, short legs, and I've got long legs or something like that. So we have one of the few race cars with electrically adjustable seat, and yeah, that works pretty cool. We've reinstalled our dash. That was quite tough. We've stripped out all of the guts of the dash. It actually doesn't weigh a tremendous amount in this format. We've obviously removed the section which would generally come here as a center console. We don't really need that. We have the opening here where the old radio was. That will, in time to come, probably be fitted with other instrumentation, gauges, switches, or possibly even a tablet. We'll see where that leads us. But we have managed to at least keep a half reasonable look about the instrument cluster. Incidentally, one of the big issues for us was making sure that we could get adequate ventilation into the car. We hear a lot of our racer friends complaining that they really battle, and various efforts that they've made don't always work terribly well. So one of our friends complained that an intake pipe that he'd installed to direct cold air or fresh air into the cab actually ended up getting him sandblasted full of stones and whatnot. So what we've done is we've actually modified the existing vents on the dash. They are connected effectively through their original ventilation pipework and then through some fiberglass adapters, and they go through a hole in the firewall. And we'll show you a little bit later. We've got a flex in there which we can direct to an intake point, which we have yet to finalize. So quite happy with the dash setup. There's a little bit of work to do on this side here because our lighting unit does foul with the roll cage underneath, and that is causing it to stand away a little bit more than we'd like. So we'll tidy that up. We've also obviously now fitted our steering wheel, so we've got a wheel with a quick release hub. That's quite nice. Obviously, the quick release hub is quite useful, particularly for a big fella like me to get in and out of the car, so we can get that in and out and on and off quite easily. Found ourselves a nice little gear knob with some nice weight to it, so that's really quite nice for the gear change, and yeah, I guess it just kind of fits the part a little bit. Still some stuff to be mounted, but we'll get around to that. Seat belts are in. Mounting the 6-point harness was actually quite hard work because you need to continuously install and remove the seat. Yeah, eventually got that done with everything in the right space. So yeah, now possible to get oneself strapped in with some pain and suffering, but effectively into a 6-point harness. And yeah, should be all good and safe. All right, so yeah, we'll have a peek at the outside of the car and the engine bay now. Okay, so we've also been busy under the hood. One of the first things we actually changed our mind on was actually doing a cold air intake system. We were initially planning just to use the standard airbox, but managed to get a good deal on a K&N air filter. That was quite straightforward, but then we realized that the cost of a cold air induction box is quite expensive, so we ended up fabricating our own out of aluminium, and actually quite happy about how that all turned out. We spoke just now about the cold air intake for the cabin, or the fresh air intake for the cabin. So you can see where we basically closed off into the firewall with a sheet of aluminium. we come through the firewall, and that line literally goes straight onto the vents, and we now have a flexi. And what we are probably going to end up doing is effectively creating a sealed chamber in this box over here, and looking at directing fresh air effectively through this part of the grill, maybe even opening up something up here in the bonnet to create some kind of high pressure into this space to get us fresh air. The other possibility is actually to install an inline fan, so we get some forced ventilation. They are available. There's a couple of sites overseas, Demon Tweaks and so on, who stock pretty nice little 12-volt inline fans. So we may look at doing that. While we're underneath here, we are going to show you a little bit later. We have got the coilovers installed, but from here you can actually see our top mounts, the camber plates, which are in place. We've dialed in quite a bit of camber. We still need to verify that on an alignment machine, but we've been aiming for about 3 degrees, and we'll see how that really gets us going. We don't have a lot more movement on this side here, so according to my calculations and measurements, we were almost at the end of the amount of travel and adjustment that we had at 3 degrees. So we'll have to see how that goes. In addition, just aesthetically, of course, we want the car to look nice, and we've yet to decide on a color scheme. But one of the things that we did decide to do was to replace the old Halo Angel Eyes. The car did have installed, but they started to die. So we put a new set in. And they're actually quite nice. They're a lot brighter than the previous ones were, and we think it just gives a nice little discerning look to the car, and should make it a little bit recognizable. Okay, so what else am I talking about? I mean, we've obviously stripped out a bunch of stuff here, talking about the. I'm going to come to the headers in a moment, but have removed quite a few things to make space for this. So you'll see aircon compressor is gone, the washer fluid bottle is gone, stock airbox is gone. So that's created a fair amount of space. And now this does allow you to see the branches that we put in. So if you'll remember from the previous video, we've managed to source a set of E46 M3 branches, and we had those fitted for us by TNT at the same time that they did the roll cage. Quite a tough job. Quite obviously, they had to do a couple of small modifications to the branch itself, as well as even trimming away part of a cooling fin on the block itself. That tight is the fitment, but they got it done, and yeah, looks really good. All right, so moving back to the outside of the car, what we've pretty much been busy with today is getting our windows done. So we've done poly all the way around, and what you'll see on the driver's side and on the passenger side is we've left these oval cutouts. Basically what these are for, and these are actually mandatory in some countries, though I don't believe so in South Africa. This is really to enable the window to be ripped out in the event of you being trapped inside the car and the door can't be opened. So it really gets a nice handhold, and you can simply rip that out. The poly windows are effectively just held in place by the rubbers on 3 sides, and then they're locked in place with a channel section down at the bottom. And then on the driver's side, we've also put in a sliding glass. We just need to put a little handle on it, but at least we have now a little window where one can get a Big Mac burger under important conditions. So yeah, that's taken us a little bit of time to get that done. And next up, we're going to be putting the car back inside, and we need to get back up on the lift, because this afternoon we still need to get the brakes bled and the fluid replaced with the RBF 660 high temperature brake fluid. We do want to make some adjustments to the rear of the car in terms of ride height. It's sitting far too high still, so we'll be playing with that, and once we've got it on the lift, we'll show you the coilovers and exactly what they look like. I must say the coilovers were very easy to fit, unlike most of the other things which you've encountered, which have been a lot tougher than expected. Installing the coilovers was an absolute breeze. Probably took an hour and a half perhaps to do all 4 coilovers, and job done. Set up and getting corner weights done is obviously a different thing entirely, and we'll get onto that in due course. So yeah, I think that covers most of the highlights of what we've covered since our last video. It's turning out to be quite a lot of fun now. I think we're beyond the really pain in the arse stuff, and getting to a point now where we're starting to see the car really look different. It certainly behaves very differently now. We've had the opportunity to take it out for a drive. Oh, and I've forgotten one important thing. We've actually had the car across to Dustec. They have done a baseline dyno run for us and then installed a Unichip. And then done some tuning and managed to extract a few more kilowatts. I think an extra 5 odd kilowatts, if I'm not mistaken. But importantly, the responsiveness has been significantly improved. And what they did report is they found tremendous lag, effectively, in throttle response at the low end of the throttle range, and that has all been kind of tuned out of the car. And I must say, driving the car now, it is very much a different animal. It's incredibly lively. It really feels responsive. It builds speed really quickly, and it turns and changes direction really quickly as well. And that's literally just at kind of civilized speeds on the road. So, yeah, we're hoping to experience the same kind of change as soon as we get it on the track.